Alright, let me look at this. Oh, wow. The video hasn't even loaded yet, and I already see where you're going with this.
Hey guys, you're listening to episode 31 of the recurring Bosscast. I'm Jet from SplitKick.com. With me is Matt from Biff Bam Pop and the Screaming Ego.
What's up?
And Jason from Inside Gaming Daily and the Slick Gaming.
Hello.
So Jason, what kept you running a little late from us starting the show on time?
Well, I was just at work. It's busy season just in retail, and there's some manager-specific things I had to do that I can't get into.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't want to get into it, but things happened, so that was exciting, and it's just really busy. People are crazy. They gotta get their food as they shop for their toys. But
Did you survive Black Friday?
I did. I actually worked overnight, so I went in at 10:45 p.m. and got off at 7 a.m. And it was really busy. We opened at 8, and apparently for maybe a solid 4 or 5 minutes, when we opened at 8, people were just walking up the stairs, nonstop. And we have 2 really, really wide staircases and 1 escalator and 2 elevators, and it was just constant. So that was pretty crazy. But we were really prepared. I just work in the cafe area, so we had all of our food ready. But also, electronics was ready to go. They had everything ready. Different lines for different things. So if you wanted an iPad, there was a specific line for you. If you wanted video games, there was a line for you. So it actually went pretty smooth. And then come 1 a.m., all the crazy people went home, and so no one's out there. So it was that was the recoup time.
Got it.
But it was fun. I mean, I heard that we did pretty well, and I think on average people spent more money nationwide this year than last year, so I guess that's always good. And it's over, so that's good.
In Canada, we just watch the videos of people getting stampeded at Walmart and shake our heads.
I don't work at Walmart, so... But yeah, I cannot believe that can happen anywhere. So, yeah. I mean, that's just more a testament in my mind to just not do it at all. And, I mean, being in retail, like I've been for the better part of a decade, most of those sales last the whole weekend. You might run out of your TVs, but we have rain checks, and, you can get them later. Or just catch a deal next week. It's always good stuff. So I don't know why people will, die for that reason. It's not worth it at all.
Anything else going on besides surviving Black Friday?
Yeah. Something exciting. We actually brought Laura's cat over to our apartment now, so we have a cat, which is cool.
Oh.
I know. She just hops around, and the first night, you could hear her pawing at the windows and the drawers and stuff. And I remember waking up the next morning and into the kitchen, 4 of our 10 cabinets were opened. So
really?
She got into those. So we have to kind of be careful now, but it's everything we expected, and it's actually really nice. It's comforting to have another creature walking around to be happy with. So, which is it's my first cat too. I mean, I was a dog person all my life because my mom is really dogs only, but Angel's really nice. So that's the cat, and she's pretty cool. So I'm happy.
Oh, Angel.
Yeah.
So cute.
Angel's cool. She's a black cat, and she's kind of mischievous. So the name is strangely ironic. But
I was going to say, black cat, mischievous, named Angel.
Exactly. There were 2 cats. The other one was named Lucifer, but unfortunately Lucifer passed away when he was very young.
Oh, I'm sorry. That
Yeah.
sucks.
But Angel's cool, so there you go. That's what's going on. We have a cat now, so that's cool.
I went and saw the Evil Dead musical.
Oh my god, how was it?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was good. So, admittedly, I hate the original Evil Dead movie.
What?
And I haven't seen any of... Yeah, I thought it was really dumb.
That's so... no, keep going.
I also hate Journey, so...
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah. Same
Game
class.
of the year. Game of the generation.
So,
Yes.
I guess during those parts, I was just like, this isn't that great. I mean, the performances were great, and the songs were good. I just didn't like the source material, but then it moved on to stuff that I wasn't as familiar with, and I was able to enjoy it more.
Nice.
So overall, it was good, and there was lots of blood, and some people got really wet from the blood splashing out from the stage onto the people.
Yeah, so I heard that the whole front row, you have to wear raincoats or something.
There's the first 3 or 4 rows they call the splash zone, and the
Splash
seats are
zone.
covered in plastic. and you have the option to buy a poncho if you want, or you can bring your own.
Right. Okay.
And there is a lot of blood, and I don't want to spoil it in any way for someone who might still want to catch the Evil Dead musical.
Yeah.
But-
Spoilers for a movie that happened in the 80s.
Yes.
I mean, spoilers for the Splash Zone, because, like, I knew there was going to be blood, but not in the way that it's actually executed. At least some of it.
Nice. So was this like a musical of just the first movie, or was it all three?
It was all three.
Okay, cool. How did you not like the Evil Dead?
I thought it was a dumb movie.
But
It's supposed to be dumb.
it's indie. I mean, it has to be kind of dumb because they couldn't do anything else with it. I don't know.
It was just bad to watch, and the writing was bad, and it wasn't. I didn't like it at all.
I don't know. I didn't like the second one that much. So there's that.
I haven't seen. I withhold judgment because I have not seen it.
Fair enough. But the tree scene in the first movie was classic.
I don't know. We'll just have to agree to disagree on this one.
Fair enough. I still want to see the musical.
Musical's good. Definitely check it out. How about you, Matt?
So today I literally just, I would say about maybe half an hour ago, got back. My work had a wicked video game tournament, like a company-wide
Nice.
video game tournament.
What?
So there was a number of different games. So they had Jet, you'd like it, Street Fighter 4
Mm-hmm.
for Xbox 360. They had NHL 14, which is my favorite. They had Halo 4, and they had Mario Kart for Nintendo 64.
Ooh.
Yeah, so kind of a wide variety of games. And so the idea was you could sign up for like a bracket. So you could either do sports or racing or shooter or fighting game. And then you had to fight a bunch of people in your bracket. And then the winner of each bracket would go on to face the winners of the other brackets and so on and so forth until you had a finalist. And so basically you'd start in your own bracket, but if you won outside of your bracket, you'd have to face another person in a different game. So it kind
Gotcha.
of takes you out of your comfort zone and whatnot. So yeah, I ended up actually, the finals are tomorrow, and I ended up going to the finals tomorrow.
Whoa. Nice.
Congratulations.
Thanks,
Yeah.
man. We're going to play Halo 4 tomorrow. It's literally going to be a 5-minute first to however many kills match, and then the winner wins a PS3.
Whoa.
Yeah, so a little last gen, but that's all right.
Hey, that's
all
cool
right.
though.
I hope you are better in Halo than, say, your Call of Duty, which I found out the other night.
Yeah, me too. Me too, that's for sure. Yeah. The guy that was playing Street Fighter 4 was decent, but the entire time he was playing, like, he basically just beat everybody. He was pretty good at it. But I was like, oh man, Jet should be here. Make this guy look like a fool.
For sure. I'm pretty jealous that you guys get to do fun stuff like that.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And I ended up, I heard through the grapevine that there was one guy that was entering the NHL bracket, which is the bracket I entered. And I heard through the grapevine that he was pretty good. So I was kind of worried about it. And I ended up facing him in the last part of it. And it was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. We ended up going to a shootout.
Oof.
And I beat him literally on the last shot of the shootout.
Nice.
So, yeah, it was pretty good. Pretty fun.
Well, congratulations and good luck.
Thanks, man.
So, besides the super epic gaming tournament at work, what have you been playing?
So I beat Nino Kuni.
Wow,
Okay.
nice.
It took me... I didn't do all the side quests and whatnot. I beat it in about 55 or 56 hours.
That's pretty fair. Yeah.
So it's not too bad. I think I was sitting at about 74 or 73 or 4%.
Mhm.
I got a friend of mine at work who beat it, and he platinumed it.
Wow.
And yeah,
Oh my
and it
goodness.
took him, he said, like, I told him it took me 50 whatever hours, and he laughed at me. he's like, no, it took me a lot longer than that. I'm like, how many? He's like, longer. I go, like 75? He's like, longer. I'm like, what,
100.
95? He's like, longer. I'm like, oh, yeah. Yeah, so he said apparently it took him like more than 100 hours to
Wow.
platinum it. Yeah, there's a lot of weird quests in it. So, like, there's quests where there's simple quests where you just go around and give something to someone and you're good. But then there's other quests where you have to go out in the field and tame like 3 familiars to bring back to this guy. But the familiars might have like a 5% catch rate. So you could literally spend days completing one side quest.
Nice.
So, yeah. I won't be platinuming it anytime soon, that's for sure. But, yeah, so that's basically all I did. Then Jet, we played some sweet Call of Duty together.
Yeah.
We got our butts handed to us. Pretty
Mostly.
decisively, I would say.
You had a few good games. I had one
Yeah.
good game.
We should probably either practice or just do it for the fun of it. Because, yeah, I don't know. I like how it looks on the next gen.
On PS4, yes, it does look great. It doesn't look as good as Battlefield 4, but
Yeah,
it looks
for
pretty
sure.
good. And I did notice when I first booted up the game before the patch, I was like, oh, this doesn't look that great. And then the patch kicked in, and I was like, oh, this is a lot better.
Yep.
Finally kicks in that 1080p, and it's like, wow, this is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty as well. You beat the campaign on PS3, right?
I did, yeah.
And you did that all in one sitting?
I did that in 4.5 hours. Yeah, it's not a very hard game.
Apparently.
No.
I was on normal, so I mean, it wasn't on like expert or anything like that. But the story progresses pretty quickly, and like pretty much before you know it, you're done.
What did you think of the campaign?
Did you play it?
I beat it.
Okay, you beat it. It was, I mean, aside from being really short, it was okay. It wasn't my favorite campaign. I would say Modern Warfare is probably my favorite campaign.
Oh, for sure.
It was good. I mean, I would say it's probably like top 3.
I think the game, like a lot of people, particularly in the press, are knocking that game, I think, a little bit unfairly. Like, I beat it. I think it's good. I think the biggest criticism of it is that it's another one of those. But in terms of campaign, I think it's definitely a step up from Modern Warfare 3, which I thought was a disaster.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, they had a lot of very cool set-piece moments, and it was a lot more interesting to shoot and kill dudes, even if it was still a linear progression. I just kind of missed the Black Ops 2 branching path stuff.
Yeah, I found too that a lot of the acting was a little bit awful. I was trying to figure a word there, and I just kind of went with awful because that's what it was. There's some pretty, I mean, no spoilers or anything, but there were some pretty dramatic moments that were so awfully acted that it lost me. You know what I mean? I can't really spoil anything, so I can't get into specifics, but it just, some of it was pretty bad.
And some of those story beats and plot twists just boggle my mind of how bad and stupid they are.
Yeah.
But okay, I guess I'll just keep shooting these guys until the game is over. And that part was fun. Multiplayer. I'm not the biggest Call of Duty connoisseur when it comes to multiplayer, but I've noticed that I don't like a lot of these maps.
Yeah, one thing we've noticed, like the guys that we play with, is that there's a ton of camping spots on these maps. It's like they're all sort of Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 2. The maps were sort of, you had to kind of keep moving. There were certain maps that had certain camping spots on it, but I'm finding now that like often I'll be in a match, there'll be 8 people in the match, and I won't see a person for like the first 3 minutes, and I'll be just getting killed from nowhere. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the maps on this one.
Yeah, there's some weird, like, I find that in this Call of Duty more than ever, it's usually I walk around, or I'm just walking slowly, and then, oh, I got shot in the back, oh, I got shot in the side. Yeah. And it's a lot less often that I get a head-to-head encounter and have to shoot the guy down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you know what, though? I guess you can sort of attest that, like, sort of attribute that to the fact that, have you tried the new marksman rifles?
No.
So like a hybrid of a assault rifle and a sniper rifle. So you've got sort of the long range ability. It's not sniper rifle long range, but it's sort of like mid-level long range. But I've been using that, and literally, like, it's almost unfair. Because I mean, up close it's a little difficult, but if you're anywhere in a map that has, sort of long view lines, it's really unfair. I mean, it's really powerful, especially if you're playing hardcore, because one hit kills anywhere above the legs. So, yeah, I don't know. It seems that the maps and the weapons are geared more for long range combat, which I don't really find as fun, but maybe we'll see.
This is what it is.
Yeah.
I still think it's a good Call of Duty, and it is one that I will probably come back to every now and then, especially at this launch period of the PlayStation 4 where there isn't that much to play.
Yeah.
Where almost everyone on my list is playing Call of Duty, so it's very easy to jump in, play with some friends for a few hours, and get your kicks out of it and go. It makes me more excited for whatever the next Treyarch game is.
Yeah, have they announced what they're going to do next?
I don't think so. No, but yeah, it should be good. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm kind of I don't know. There's nothing really to play for PlayStation.
There isn't.
I got Lego Marvel Superheroes.
Oh, how is it?
Okay.
That was pretty cool. It's not too bad. I'm not like a huge fan of the Lego games. I got it from one of the guys from work. He just was getting rid of it, so I didn't pay full price for it or anything. But I popped it in. I played it for a bit. It's like the graphics kind of blow me away. Like it looks like you're playing with real Lego figures, like in real life. It's so cool. The concept is awesome. I'm just not a huge fan of the actual Lego games themselves, like run around, destroy everything, collect the caps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But from a graphic standpoint, it's pretty impressive.
Is there voice acting in this one?
Yeah, it's
Nice.
all voice acted. And when things explode and you destroy things and whatnot, they all explode into these, Lego pieces, cap things, but there's so much processing power on the PS4. It's like when something explodes, it literally explodes into hundreds of pieces, and you can see every piece.
That is
Like,
amazing.
yeah, it's
Oh,
crazy,
man.
man. It's crazy.
Now I feel like I screwed myself over by buying the PS3 version on Black Friday for $25. Now they're only going to explode in dozens of pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Such
you're
a
gonna lose all
waste.
that.
All right, Matt.
The exponential
So I have a
explosions.
question.
Yeah, sure.
Have you played as Stan Lee?
No, not yet. I've only played about.
Spoilers.
Well, everyone knows
No,
Stan Lee's in it.
Everybody knows that.
Come on. It's a Marvel
Uh,
anything. Stan Lee's in it.
Yeah, no, I haven't. Oh, did you guys see the PlayStation First to Greatness campaign that's going on?
No, what is that?
No.
So PlayStation's got, so essentially they're trophies or achievements, whatever, and you have to be the first one to do something. So they've opened up all these things now. I think there was like 85 of them or something like that. And basically, if you were the first person on the network to do the challenge and then share it to Facebook or whatnot, they'll put you on the website, and you kind of sort of live in infamy now that you're the first person that's ever done it.
Interesting.
And the reason I bring it up is one of them was swinging in front of the Daily Bugle sign as Stan Lee.
Ooh.
So somebody got that. But you can actually go to it online and you can watch all the first times people have done things. There's all the video clips are on there, but no surprise, all of them were done fairly quickly.
Yeah. That's kind of cool. So long as they make them not mundane tasks, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, they all seem like pretty neat, like first triple kill or first,
Yeah.
Things like that. So
Yeah. I love sharing PlayStation 4 gameplay videos onto my Facebook page. I'm sure all my friends think I'm scum for all of the things I do in NBA 2K14, but man, I just feel like, oh, that great thing happened. Sweet, hit the button, chop up the video, and go.
So
And then I've got a permanent record of it happening.
I haven't shared anything to Facebook from my PS4 yet. I noticed that when you share like sort of short clips. Is there a reason? Like, does it take really long to transcode and upload, or?
No, I mean, just the nature of NBA 2K, I'm uploading like one highlight at a time.
Yeah.
Because that's all I want people to see, and that's it.
Okay, got it.
But you can do, if you just took your whole 15-minute snippet, you could upload that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When you're uploading, can you still play, or do you have to wait for it to upload?
Oh, you can still play.
Nice.
So you just hit the button to upload, and then you just go back to playing while it does its uploading process.
Well, then why not upload?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I want to upload more stuff, but, I mean, Resogun is just, look at these things blow up, and then Call of Duty is, watch me get shot.
Yeah,
So, not really much in the way of cool things to share there.
yeah. You and I played a good game of Resogun.
Oh, yeah, we should have shared that.
We're gonna do
Broadcast
a
of that.
Bosscast broadcast of Resogun, I think.
Yeah, at some point, for sure. And once Jason gets a PS4, then we should make that like a thing that we
No.
do. Just broadcast various games.
You guys are having fun
no,
without me.
Jason can just do it on the Wii U.
Yeah. I don't know if you're being mean or not.
No.
Whatever, Jim has a Wii U now.
Yeah.
And he was like the biggest Nintendo hater. I'm super surprised that he ended up doing it.
It's because it
Wow.
was pretty cool.
Even after listening to that last episode of Short Attention Gamer, I was like, why did you do that shit? Not to say that there's anything wrong with that, but I did not expect that from him at all.
Man, the Call of Duty. I saw gameplay footage of Call of Duty Ghost on the Wii U, and they compared it to that on the PS3 and on the Xbox 360, and it's almost identical.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But the problem is, I guess there's not many people playing it on the Wii U,
No. I mean, there's enough to get some team deathmatch going.
Yeah.
That's about it.
but not any specialty matches or anything like that.
No.
It's kind of a shame.
Oh, for sure. I would have thought there'd be at least a little more of the Nintendo crowd that's interested in Call of Duty, especially since they haven't been able to play it.
Yeah,
At least
exactly.
if you only owned a Wii, you got like the super gimped versions
Yeah.
of those. I'm actually kind of curious. I've always wanted to play one of the Wii versions of Call of Duty and see
Oh my god, no
how
you don't.
inferior it is.
You do not want to play them at all. What is it, like the Modern Warfare is Reflex Edition or something like that.
Mhm.
Oh god, it's terrible.
So wait, do you have to use is it like motion controlled, or can you just use a controller?
I think you need to use. I want to say it's only with the Wii remote and nunchuck. Maybe you can use something else, but like
Oh my god,
it's just
that's
motion
gotta
controlled.
be
It's
awful.
so choppy, and like the visuals are just atrocious, and the shooting is really bad. So it is not worth it in any sense. I mean, I think the Wii U handles on rail shooters. That's all it can do in terms of shooters,
Yeah.
which is great, and those are fun. But once you try to move around, it's just no.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm trying to think. What were the good Wii shooters? I have a copy of Red Steel. Red Steel 2.
Yeah, Red Steel
That
2
was
is
a
okay.
good one. It's still in the packaging. I have not gotten around
really?
to it, but someday I will play it. I bought it on Boxing Day a few years ago for $10, and it's still sealed. One day I will get around to it.
Yeah, I can't think of any other real shooters that aren't on rail shooters that are good,
No.
which is okay. We have Xboxes for those.
Jason, what are you playing?
I finally played my Wii U, so it's pretty exciting. I've decided that I want to play my games and beat them before I open the next one. So I started with Super Mario Bros. U. So that's my first Wii U experience, and it's pretty cool. It's ultimately a sequel to Super Mario Bros. Wii, which is okay,
Mhm.
but I liked
Okay.
it, and it's fun. It's still really challenging, and I absolutely love the Miiverse. That is so cool.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's easy to just get lost in the Miiverse and see all the people talking about different games. And what's that farming game on the Wii U?
I don't know. Harvest Moon? I don't know.
No. It's free to play in other regions except for North America.
Lame.
Something farm? I can't remember what it's called, but that one has the funniest Miiverse. Most of the people haven't even played the game and they're just trolling it the entire time. Awesome.
Yeah. Laura is always creating semi-ridiculous but often hilarious Miiverse posts. And we've been playing a lot of Super Mario Brothers, so it's usually related to the level. Like when the level features like a piranha plant, she'll draw the piranha plant and says like "kiss me," and it has like big lips and everything like that. And then just a lot of like funny pictures. It's actually hilarious. But
Funky Barn.
what is it?
Funky Barn is the game.
Oh yeah, I've seen that at GameStop. There's like
Funky
a
Barn
sheep on the
Miiverse.
front or something like that. That game's
Yeah.
good?
No.
Oh, okay. It's just free.
It has the funniest Miiverse.
Okay, I'm gonna have to join the community, but it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So anyways, playing Super Mario Brothers, pretty cool. But I finally picked up Nintendo Land, and that game is amazing. I love Nintendo Land.
It's got some cool mini games in there.
Yeah, they're so fun. I think I've actually played them all now, and I cannot wait for our friends to come over so we can do 4 or 5 player, well, anything. I'm so excited. You've played it, right, Jet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt and I played that together. The Zelda one is awesome.
Yeah, it's
so
pretty
fun. And
Yeah.
I think right now the one that I probably like the most, I don't even know what I would say. I think Zelda was cool. It probably offered the most in-depth sort of gameplay that was really fun. But by myself, I kind of like the Yoshi one, where you like kind of
Yoshi one is awesome
yeah,
too.
and it's like a puzzle game, but for some reason it's simple yet really addictive and incredibly frustrating. So, aka perfect, and that's really really cool. So I like that. I think it kind of like how Wii Sports was a really great demonstration for the Wii. This is a good demonstration for the Wii U, and it's cool. My money is on Monita being in the new Smash Brothers. That'd be fun.
Ooh.
I know, maybe.
Interesting
Oh, speaking of
choice.
which, did you hear the rumor that Reggie might be in the new Smash Brothers?
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a rumor, but like,
Yeah.
wouldn't that be hilarious? I would totally be him. He'd be my main on day one. So anyways, got the Wii U going on, and then there was a sale on some Mario games on the eShop. So I picked up for my 3DS Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins, the old Game Boy game. And
That's awesome.
yeah, I remember getting that game when I was really young from like Kool-Aid. You can collect Kool-Aid points and you get stuff, and we ended up getting video games. So I got that. I remember beating it quite a lot because we didn't have many games when I grew up. So playing it again, it's actually still incredibly easy. And 2 things struck me as really, really weird. One is that one of the items is a carrot, and the carrot gives you bunny ears. And with the bunny ears, Mario can like float essentially, kind of like how you could float with the raccoon tail and the Tanuki suit. But your line of descent is like so shallow, you can pretty much float through the entire level. So it makes the game very, very easy. And I can see why they didn't continue bringing the carrot back. But beyond that, this has to be the scariest and most like horrifying Mario game I've ever actually played, because there are like Wario's castle, the door to get in is like filled with like horns, spikes, and like demonic creatures. There's a Halloween level where I'm pretty sure the walls are bleeding. One of the enemies is like the hockey mask, like the Jason mask, with like a knife sticking in it. And there's just like creepy pictures of things like everywhere. And I'm like, this is the scariest Mario game I've ever played. Like, I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier. But it's still really fun. So, I mean, that's cool. But it's just kind of creepy. So that's my review. Fun, but kind of creepy.
How are you liking the Wii U as a system? The OS, friends, all that stuff.
Oh, I like it. I think... how should I say this? I think everything to navigation is really easy. So that's cool. I just feel like there's not... I don't know. Like, I want to be more immersed, like, when I turn it on. Because, like, the Miiverse kind of pops up, and it's really neat. But you have to, like... I don't know, navigate to each individual thing. I was hoping it would be a bit more freeform, but it's easy, and I like how you can sign up to just have things download automatically, like from Spot Pass, and that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, it's not anything great besides the Miiverse. So,
all right.
But I think it's great for what it is. I think it's cool, and they're gonna do the Miiverse for the 3DS. I think it's set in January, maybe. So once that integrates, that could be really cool to finally bridge those two together. Beyond that, that's what's going on.
My weird favorite thing about the Wii U is that the discs are really smooth.
Yeah, they are. I noticed that too when I opened it. I was like, wow, this is like pristine.
I don't know what it is that Nintendo felt like they had to make their discs smoother than everyone else, but they did it.
It's nice. It's quality.
If they can't beat them in graphics, they beat them in disc smoothness.
Yes, disc smoothness. That was a category, and apparently Nintendo needed to excel.
Yeah.
Hands down winner.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Jet?
So
you've got a lot of
playing
games.
my Wii U as well. Yeah, there's a lot of things on here. Just quick housekeeping. I beat Sly Cooper, Thieves in Time.
And
it's a good game. I beat it. Most people can find it for super dirt cheap right now, and I would recommend getting it. Well worth your $10 or $15 or whatever it is at this point. But then I started playing Super Mario 3D World and
jealous.
Subsequently beating it. Oh my goodness, that game is incredible. It's kind of like an evolution of Super Mario 3D Land. I mean, it's a little reductive to just say it's 3D Land, but with 4 dudes in it, and you can play as Peach and float, even though playing as Peach and floating around is super awesome. But just the level of creativity and the level that they execute that game on is pretty nuts. And so, like, I felt like New Super Mario Bros. U was, like, it was well done, but it was another Mario game. This one just, like, they just go crazy with all the neat ideas that are in the levels, and I love the cat suit. It sounds like a really silly thing, but it really changes how you play that game or even think about the game. So now you have the ability to run up things, so you're thinking to yourself, well, what if I climb up this wall? And more often than not, you'll find something cool. And just the level designs themselves, there are so many cool ideas. Like, every single level has something different to make it stand out from the thing you just played before. And it just has fresh ideas going all the way to the end.
So is this the system seller for the Wii U?
I guess as far as Mario games, yes. I think the ultimate system seller would be some sort of Wii Sports. Not the downloadable free one, but something with that level of mainstream appeal.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like, I guess the next step down would be a Mario game that is as awesome as this one.
yeah,
Very nice. I will say,
Yeah.
once I saw how fun that game looked, that's pretty much what made me decide to buy the Wii U.
It is well worth buying a Wii U for. So I mean, I got that. I actually booked off the Friday that game came out, primarily to play PS4. And then when I started playing Mario, I was like, hold on, time out. I'm just stopping everything to play this game. And I just did not stop till I beat it. So it is excellent. And if you don't have a Wii U, you should try and find a way to play that game. Go to a friend's house that has it or something.
Better with friends
Just
or
go
better
buy
solo?
one. Admittedly, I have not had a chance to play it with friends, but I am assuming it'll be the same type of, like, New Super Mario Bros. Experience where you'll either like it or you won't.
Right.
It depends on what type of Mario player you are. I personally like playing with multiple people, but some people are just very picky about how they play through a Mario level, and they cannot deal with incompetence from their friends. So there's that. Still playing NBA 2K14. There's less cutscenes, which is awesome, so it's just more basketball, and it's still great. Talked about Ghosts, and I beat Phoenix Wright, Dual Destinies,
Nice.
finally. So I'm finally working on writing up that review for Split Kick.
You're not going to get the DLC?
I don't know yet. There's a lot to play. Although I've heard that the DLC you are defending a whale.
Yes, you are.
So maybe at some point I will. But it was last Friday night, and I was on either the end of the 4th case or the start of the 5th.
Uh-huh.
And there was just this crazy revelation that hit, and I was like, oh my goodness, I need to see where this goes. And I played through the end, and then I looked at the time, and it was 5 o'clock in the morning.
Nice.
I was like, oh no.
Oh, man.
Case 5 is pretty good.
It is pretty good.
That's the
It
wrap-up
wraps up
case?
really
Like, oh man,
well.
that ties it all together.
That was good. If you are a Phoenix Wright fan, this is a no-brainer. Just do it. And if you're not,
Do it anyways.
it's probably still good. Yeah, do it anyways. There's some things that you might not fully grasp, but that's okay. It's still a good game. And I'm now playing The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds.
Oh, oh.
Yes, indeed. That game is freaking incredible. Oh my goodness. Ah! Like, I haven't played a 2D Zelda game since A Link to the Past.
Well, this should work out perfectly
That's
for
been
you.
Almost went. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird how that game toes the line between being A Link to the Past and being something completely different. Because the overworlds are the same, and there's a lot of things about it that are very similar. A lot of the music is inspired by the original stuff, but it feels like a very different Zelda game. It's really smart in the way it approaches that formula, where it's very fast. Within the first 5 minutes, you're off adventuring the rent system. So some guy randomly moves into your house at the beginning of the game and lets you rent everything from the start.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like bombs or things like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, in theory, within like the first half hour, you can get all of the weapons.
Wow.
But you like lose them if
Yeah.
you die, right?
Yes, and that has happened to me a bunch of times where I rented a bunch of stuff and then I died, and then I lost everything. So, if you want to keep stuff, you can buy stuff and keep it permanently, but they cost way more. So, I mean, there's a give and take of, do I buy this thing now because I need it, or do I just rent it for the time being so I can mess around with it?
It's pretty cool, actually. It's pretty smart.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of power and freedom to kind of explore that world any way you want. Other smart things, when you are using specific weapons that use that purple bar regenerates, and you don't have to collect stuff in order to recharge it.
Good.
Well, that's
So
pretty
you're
good.
not going to go into a boss fight and then run out of energy on that one weapon that will kill it, and then you're screwed. Which is great, and story-wise, it's really good, and the dungeons are really, really smart. It's just so incredible how they put those together in a way where they're challenging, but you never feel totally lost. It does a great job of giving you like visual cues as to what you're supposed to do without hitting you over the head with what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's great. I have to finish this game, I would say, before the end of this year, because this has got to be a contender for Game of the Year.
Nice.
Wow,
So
really?
I
eh?
need to know. Is this going to be number one? It might be.
Wow.
Has there ever been
It is
a
that
portable
good.
game of the year? Like for publications?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Think so.
I mean, unless
I-
you're talking about portable game of the year.
Oh, well, no, I mean like
Yeah.
overall. And not from
No, I
like
don't think
Nintendo
so.
Power or anything.
Well,
Huh.
Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle game of the year
Oh, well, don't be hating on Bugs Bunny now.
for the Game Boy.
Wow.
it is going to be in that Game of the Year discussion. I don't know if people are going to, in fact, name that as the best game of the year, but it is one of the best games for sure.
It's awesome. I just want to play it more.
Well, I guess our topic of the week is other great games that came before it. I guess we have worded this as games of the generation.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, I mean, there are a lot of different ways you can interpret the expression games of the generation. Is it the best games? Is it the most memorable games? Is it the games that when we look back on this generation 10 years from now, these are the ones that people will still remember? I mean, I guess we all kind of have our different ways of interpreting it, and I don't really want to limit the conversation to a specific thing. So, games of the generation, what do you guys think?
When you first brought this topic up, I was trying to think about what I would kind of, I don't know, define as a game of generation. And so I tried to look at each system as something that would just be, I don't know, easily fit, like what you said, like remembered years from now, system seller, anything like that. And if we're going to talk about specific games, I think it's funny, whoever wrote the outline put the first game first is what the one I thought of, and that's Wii Sports. I think that's I would say of the whole generation. So Wii, Xbox 360, PS3, and even DS and PSP. There is no game that defines it better than that, and I'm gonna put that on record. Wii Sports, that is the game of the generation.
So I put together the outline,
Mhm.
and I went through Metacritic and looked at the top scoring games for each system, and I just wrote them down and thought which ones would fit. And then I went to the Wii section, and I thought, yeah, Wii Sports. Had to put it in there. And it was at the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
And then I thought about it, and thought about the ramifications of that game and its impact on everything.
Exactly.
And I was like, yeah, let's move this over here. Because I know there are a lot of people that are going to hate on Wii Sports and say that it's not that great of a game and the boxing was stupid and so on and so forth, but its impact on the gaming industry is ridiculous.
Yes.
Nothing has impacted this generation more than Wii Sports.
I can't agree more. I mean, like, it did so many things that I don't think people really think about. Beyond, I mean, the gameplay was pretty good. Like, I wouldn't say it was bad, and it was a new type of game with motion controls. It brought tons of new people from different demographics to play together. It was a party game. It was a solo game. It was a motion control game. It was a packing game. It sold the system. I mean, it did everything. So that, I mean, you can't deny any of that.
It outsold the original Super Mario Bros. Over 40 million
There you go.
copies sold of that game.
Wow.
So, I mean, and there's a reason why I don't live at home anymore, but if I go back to Indiana, like with my family, we still play Wii Sports. Like if we want to play the Wii, that's what we'll play. So that's a testament. And the game is what, 7 years old now? It's going to be 8 years old.
Mhm.
So there you go.
It is the reason why Nintendo won last generation.
Hands down.
Well, it's so accessible for people of all ages too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that was one of the driving features of it too. It's like you could play it with your mom and you could both be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
For sure.
I mean, we can't forget that Microsoft and Sony played catch up right afterwards. I mean, Kinect and the Move, it's got to be from Wii Sports and the Wii.
And neither of those were very good.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, we had Kinect Animals.
Yeah.
Connectables.
Like pet your lion or whatever.
Hey, Skittles.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah. Without Wii Sports, there would be no Wonder Book.
Wow, that's true.
How have we
That
lived?
means we would have had half of our E3 conference back.
Sad.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite Wonder Book moment was there's a special power-up for your magic wand that squirts water from your magic wand. And of course you show up on the screen. So I don't even need to finish the rest of the story to explain where this is going. Yeah.
We need to keep it G. Or PG at least.
The next one on this list, I don't know if I'd put this as a game of the generation. Either Grand Theft Auto 4 or Grand Theft Auto 5.
I think you could make an argument for Grand Theft Auto 4.
I agree.
Yeah.
Just because of the way it sort of... I mean, Grand Theft Auto 3 kind of redefined the PlayStation 2, whereas Grand Theft Auto 4 sort of redefined the entire Grand Theft Auto series.
Matt, you're like in my mind. That's exactly what I was thinking. Totally.
Not to sell Grand Theft Auto 5 short, but Grand Theft Auto 5 is arguably the best one in the series, and it sold like 30 million copies.
Yeah. But I don't think it's all about sales though. I think it's about I feel like it's not about sales, maybe gameplay, things like that. But I think for the games of generation, it should be about what it did for gaming.
Yeah, impact.
And I think GTA 4 did a lot. Like everyone played that game pretty much.
Yeah.
And people talked about it. It spawned so many other games. So
yeah,
I would say
because realistically, like people played GTA 3, and that was legitimate. I mean, GTA 3, not San Andreas or anything like that, but that was the first really open world game. Or open world GTA game that 3D, you could run around, you could do kind of whatever you wanted. But then Grand Theft Auto 4 took that and made it into like an actual believable rendered world.
It's a good point.
You know what I mean? Where it wasn't cartoony anymore. It was very like real life and very sort of visceral. And I think that probably had one of the biggest impacts. When people saw that, they kind of just mouths open, like, wow, this is unreal.
Yeah.
Would you kindly add BioShock to the list of games of this generation?
I would. When I was thinking about a lot of the games, a lot of shooters came up, but beyond just adding like, Modern Warfare, which I think should be on the list too, I think BioShock is like, that is the defining shooting game that's not about multiplayer, is the best way I could put it. I mean, the story in that game was just awesome. And I think that's a great example of a game that we will look at in the future and compare to other games. oh, blah, 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 this game is really good, but we saw it in Bioshock 10 years ago. And that's,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great sign. And it's a game that I think everyone should play. I mean, PC, PS3, wherever, Xbox, you should play that game.
Tape recorders, after Bioshock, they ended up in every game
Yeah.
regardless of genre.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that Bioshock did that, I mean, not just first-person shooters that copied it, but, like, every game has components of Bioshock in it now, in the way it tells its story and cinematic moments and all that type of stuff. I remember fondly buying that game on the day it came out. I played the demo. I think my favorite part of that game was playing the demo, and the way it ends on that crazy crescendo, and the moment it ended, I was just like, oh my goodness, I need to buy this game now. And before that, I only picked up that demo because I was bored that day and had nothing else to play.
Changed your life. I remember getting, I got Bioshock and Fallout 3 for Christmas one year, and I love the Fallout series, but I still played Bioshock first because it was just too cool, and I loved it. It was amazing.
Do you think that Bioshock 2 or Infinite would hold that same level of weight as the original?
I can't believe you would even talk about Bioshock 2. I think Infinite might. You know, it was cool, but I think because Bioshock was first, I feel like that's the one that's going to stick out more. Even though Infinite's really great and may or may not be better, I think it's going to be Bioshock that kind of lives, in infamy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How about Portal?
I think it's definitely, I mean, it stands out for me just because it's one of the coolest puzzlers I think I've ever played. And it's
definitely,
it was so sort of inventive, or I guess sort of different when it came out. You know what I mean? There wasn't really anything like it. And then you had GLaDOS on top of it, which was probably one of the best characters in video games.
Pop culture icon.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah, I really enjoyed Portal. And Portal 2 for that matter.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the big kind of innovations was the portal gun itself and the type of puzzles that it opened up, the type of storytelling that game had, where it was GLaDOS kind of narrating all the way through. There was the ending of that game.
Yeah.
Super influential. So many things about. Oh, the fact that it was a short 3-hour bite-sized experience that still ended up having more impact than most of the games that came out this generation.
Yeah.
One of the first games that kind of sparked that whole movement of let's make small games.
Yeah. I mean, and the cake is alive. That's a phrase that we see everywhere now, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Portal also kind of launched the physics-based puzzler, like, into stardom. I feel like once Portal came out, you just saw a bevy of those every few weeks. Better or for worse, I don't know. Mass Effect. Matt, why don't you like Mass Effect?
Oh, get off it. You know what? I really did like Mass Effect. I liked Mass Effect 1. I really enjoyed Mass Effect 2. I mean, Mass Effect 1, aside from the stupid rover missions, but other than that, I really enjoyed Mass Effect 2. I thought it was fantastic. I really enjoyed Mass Effect 3 up until about the last 15 minutes. And then that last 15 minutes ruined the entire series for me. So I would say that, I mean, as far as for what it promised us in the beginning, you could say that Mass Effect was definitely sort of one of the most revolutionary sort of third-person kind of action shooters around, because what it promised was this gigantic branching storyline where your choices really made a difference and all this stuff. So that in its idea was, pretty revolutionary at the time. We'd seen it a lot in sort of like, RPGs and whatnot in the past, but with, this one came with a really good story. It was really well done. The voice work was really well put together. So I don't know. I was really disappointed with the ending. Other than that, I actually really enjoyed the series.
Yeah. There was no game, at least I don't think there was any game that carried your exact decisions from game to game, and by the end of it, you just had so much invested in it that if that ending did not go the way you wanted, of course you were going to be super heartbroken by it.
Exactly.
Because it had built up so much awesome along the way, and so much of it was yours. You put your stamp on so many different moments across dozens, if not hundreds of hours of playing those 3 games that it really meant a lot at the end. And for at least the ability to carry over all those decisions in one trilogy, it'll be remembered for that. And some of my favorite characters this generation are in Mass Effect. I love Garrus.
Yeah.
I have a man crush on Thane.
Yeah.
I think he's a really sexy dude with his, grovelly voice and just his reformed rebel, just trying to be good. He's trying to repent for his sins and make sure that he is a good role model for his son, who's also trying to follow. There's something very hot about that.
Oh, Jed.
Jed has a man crush. Yeah, good stuff.
No, I'm being dead serious. I love Thane as a character. That was all real.
I'm trying to think of the alien doctor. What his name was?
Solus. Morin Solus?
Yeah, that's it.
He was awesome.
Yes.
Best character in Mass Effect.
He was one of my favorite. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. That booty on Miranda. So many great moments.
Yeah, absolutely. But I still hate it.
Yeah. Justified.
Yeah.
I mean, just while it's out there, who did you guys romance in the 3 games?
Miranda.
I gotta think about this. Wait, what was the name of the Asari girl in the first one?
Liara.
Yeah, I did.
Liara.
I did. I romanced her.
Yeah, you hit that.
Yeah.
You're like William Shatner.
Yeah. And then I think it was Miranda. Yeah.
In the first game. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I can't really see romancing anybody but Miranda.
Yeah.
I think at one point I romanced the girl from the prison. What was her name?
Jack.
Yeah, Jack.
Yeah. Other than that, Miranda.
Okay.
What were you gonna say?
So, I mean, in the first game, it was between Ashley and Liara, and I went with Liara because Ashley's racist.
I killed Ashley, so...
Oh, okay.
Oh, you left her on the thing?
Yeah. She was getting in my way, so I was like, I'm with Liara. You gotta go.
I couldn't deal with her intolerance towards aliens, and Liara's kind of hotter anyway. So there's that. And then in the second game, Liara just kind of brushes you off, and I went with Miranda. And then in the third game, I went back to Liara.
Right on.
The Shadow Broker.
And then it all
Spoilers.
didn't matter.
I mean, there's a lot of games on this list. I don't know if there's any on here that you guys are like, yeah, no, that doesn't count. How about we flag some of those?
The ones that don't count?
That you don't think qualifies as a game of the generation.
Oh.
Throw some games under the bus here. Jason, go.
Throw some under the bus? I don't know if I would do
Yeah.
Ni no Kuni.
No way.
Ooh.
No, I don't know. I feel like this, I mean, being an RPG fan, that's a great game.
Yeah.
But I think that the generation was defined by better RPGs. Namely like Mass Effect and Skyrim, which we haven't talked about yet. So I think...
Yeah, that's true, but you could look at it from the fact that it's not really the same.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a
they're both
JRPG.
RPGs, but yeah, I mean, the cartoony
Exactly.
kind of
I think it was
aspect of
really
whatnot.
good, but I don't know. I mean, like, I think it's really hard to stand out in that genre. And it does. It really does, but I don't think it's, like, crazy, awesome, oh my god, you have to buy a PS3 to play this game. But
Yeah, that's true.
I think
can
it's
see that.
good. And I could see it being there, but I don't think it would be on my games list.
I think maybe because I just finished putting 55 hours into it, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
give me another couple weeks, I'd be like, nah, maybe not.
I like the Batman games, but I don't know if I would include them either. Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and I guess maybe Arkham Origins, but they're good, and I enjoyed both of them, the first two, but again, I don't know. I feel like it revolutionized in a way how you play those games, but it still wasn't a crazy... I think it still wasn't as good as some of the other games we talked about, in my mind.
See, I don't know. I kind of disagree with that.
Yeah.
I think Arkham City, Arkham City, Arkham Asylum was, I mean, Arkham City was good. It was, I mean, arguably better than Arkham Asylum. But I think Arkham Asylum was the first game where we actually got a lot of people, you know, who read comic book Batman and who sort of wanted a non-sort of cartoony Batman. This was the first time they got it in a video game, I think.
That's true.
And all the villains and stuff were, you know, basically comic book villains. They weren't, you know, from the movies or whatever. And I mean, some of them anyway. But, and then you got to look at the fighting mechanics, which basically, I mean, I don't really recall any sort of game like that having fighting mechanics that good. And I really don't recall anything like that since.
That's true.
So, I mean, I had a ton of fun with the fighting mechanics. And that being said, also in Arkham City as well. And I haven't played the new one yet, but I'm assuming it's the same. But the counter mechanics and the counter fighting mechanics were great. And I mean, if not for anything, maybe just because of the fighting mechanics.
Yeah, that was definitely a game changer right there. Like, third-person action games were of the button masher God of War variety, and then Arkham came and added this counter thing, and then everything played like Arkham after that.
Yeah.
You're winning me over. This is good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, like from a superhero perspective, Matt hit on a great point where I would go as far as to say that was the first legitimate good superhero game. Period.
I would totally agree with that. Totally agree with that.
I mean, there are other good superhero games, and I'd say even some good Batman games, but there was no superhero game until that one that was just like, yep, that is how a Batman game should play.
That's true.
Yeah, I agree.
For sake of not staying on any one game too long, not for throwing things under the bus anymore, but I think definitely game of the generation has to be Street Fighter 4. Like, I can see no way that's not part of that. So I don't know, Jed, if you want to talk about Street Fighter, because I know you're a fan, but
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, the fighting game genre had been largely dead
Exactly.
for a decade until that game came out, and then it sold like crazy, and it was really good, and its staying power is, I mean, it can't be argued. People are still playing Street Fighter 4 today. It is still the biggest fighting game in the world, in the tournament scene, and just people playing online. And it revived the entire genre.
Exactly.
You would not get a new Mortal Kombat. You would not get Injustice, a new Tekken, Soul Calibur, BlazBlue. All those other games. Girl Fight on Xbox Live, which is terrible. That would not exist if it wasn't for the return of Street Fighter 4.
exactly.
Dive kick. Come on.
Dive Kick, yes.
Yeah.
All of that stuff revived that entire genre and has helped revive that scene into something that is... It's fun, and a scene that's probably not going to burn out like the fighting game days of the 90s, where it feels, I think it is going to be a lot more sustainable.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just part of the technology, too. Being online and whatnot, it should
Yeah.
stay a lot longer.
Yeah, and Street Fighter 4 was one of the first... I mean, there's been good fighting games played through GGPO on PC,
Mhm.
but in terms of a game that everyone could play on a console, easy peasy, that had good netcode, that was the first one.
Mhm.
Yeah, easily.
And people are still, like, within the fighting game genre, copying a lot of its nuances and mechanics to this day. Play Killer Instinct, it's basically Street Fighter 4 with ultra combos in it. Just saying.
Yep.
I put Journey on this list out of courtesy to those who really like Journey, but I would not count that.
Why, Jay? You don't like Journey?
Yeah. I thought it was your game of the year last year.
Alright, it is the prettiest walking simulator of this generation.
Nice.
Hey, you float as well.
Whoa, spoilers.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah.
There are better games that did floating better than Journey.
Yeah. All these games on this
I
list
love
are all
Rock
pretty good,
Band.
actually.
I love Rock Band
Yeah,
as
Yeah.
a game that defined this generation, particularly DLC.
definitely.
I mean, yes, it had the whole party element, and you could play the drums and play the guitar and sing all at the same time. And that was awesome for a couple years, and I think its lasting impact is just its DLC model is unmatched to this day.
Yep.
Where it was just, a lot of people complained about microtransactions and nickel and diming people here and there, but that was the perfect model for it.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I've easily spent over $1,000 on DLC in that.
Oh my
game.
god, are you serious?
Wow.
Yeah, I bought hundreds of songs on there.
Dang, Jet.
And then, I mean, when you include the Rock Band 2, Rock Band 3, the
Yeah.
Beatles Rock Band, Lego Rock Band Blitz, so on and so forth, it easily got at least $1,000 out of me, possibly more.
Wow.
It's a lot of plastic.
Worth every penny.
So speaking of the fight mechanics in Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Gears of War,
Mm.
I think we could probably look at that as sort of revolutionizing the third-person cover shooter
cover-based.
simulator.
Gears of War 1 is my least favorite of the bunch, but you can't deny that game's influence on everything that came after it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say so.
And also, it was probably the first game that said, hey, look, this is actually next gen. With those
Yeah.
graphics at the time, holy cow.
And it was pretty bloody.
To say the
Like, it
least.
was one of those games where, as you got through it, you kind of had to stare at it a little bit and go, holy crap. Like, I just, cut a guy in half with the chainsaw, which is also on the tip of my giant gun that I can shoot people's heads off with.
And that's when you're not stamping people into the ground and their head bursts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And just so we don't forget it, Modern Warfare, of course, on this list.
Oh, yeah.
No question. The things it did for multiplayer, and even its single-player campaign, is still wonderful and revolutionary for its time.
Yeah.
I think it's still fun to play now. Of the
Yeah.
Modern Warfare campaigns, that is the best one.
Yeah, I
Well,
agree.
considering that it came after Call of Duty 3, which is arguably not one of the greatest.
Oh man, that game is a stinker.
So, they really stepped up their game after that.
I have to give a shout out to Braid. I don't know if that was just Jet throwing it out there, but I think Braid was cool and it was a fun game. Not my favorite game of all time, but I think Braid should be on the Games of the Generation list for what it did for indie games. And I think that was, maybe there was a better one, but I feel like that was the first indie game that really made people play it and be like, wow, this indie scene is pretty cool. And because of that, we got so many other great, just wonderful indie titles. I mean, you can look at all over Steam. I feel like, Braid helped with that. Xbox Live, PSN, a lot of great indie games.
Yeah.
For sure. Also, just downloadable games in general.
Yeah, in general.
I mean,
Yeah.
Braid, and then open the doors for like a Bionic Commando Rearmed, and Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix, and all of the other good downloadable games. I mean, Resogun, Geometry Wars. How did we miss that?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that one, I guess, would be the OG downloadable console game. And it was awesome.
I love Geometry Wars. That game is amazing.
Yeah.
That is simplicity at its finest.
Matt, I suspect a lot of people are going to call The Last of Us their game of the year. Would you put this on the list of games of the generation?
It's tough because I think that what Uncharted did for the PS3, I think everything after that has kind of sort of leapfrogged off of that.
Yeah.
Including The Last of Us. I mean, not to take away from The Last of Us, it's a fantastic game, but I think that really the true sort of like jaw-dropping moment was, stepping into the original Uncharted and just sort of walking around and looking at the gigantic world, and the story was incredible, the gameplay was awesome.
Dead water.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly right. And I mean, Uncharted 2 was great too. And realistically, it was kind of Naughty Dog finding their footing at that point, and they've sort of just piggybacked off of that all the way through. Granted, their games have gotten, better, arguably, but I think if you're talking about the genre-defining game, you've got to go with Uncharted over The Last of Us, I think.
I would agree.
And yeah. I would say if you're going to pick an Uncharted game, it has to be Uncharted 2.
Hands down.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I just mean for like, we hadn't seen it before Uncharted, right? So Uncharted was kind of our first foray into it. Uncharted 2 really refined everything in Uncharted. So yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, and the whole idea of the big set pieces in video games and...
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of came from there. The train sequence is one of the best levels of this generation.
Oh, good lord, yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think that... Let me get my dates right. Yeah, 2009, Uncharted 2. I feel like 2009 was a fantastic game for years, because I want to say that was Uncharted and was it Modern Warfare 2 and Mass Effect 2? Like a whole bunch of like crazy big games. And like,
yeah,
dude, in my mind, Uncharted 2, that was a game of the year against these like juggernauts. And I mean, maybe it didn't win a lot of game of the years, but wow, that game was so cool. I mean, if you that made you proud to have a PlayStation over an Xbox.
Yeah.
Someone put Minecraft on here, which is absolutely deserving of that.
I put that on there too. Yeah, that's a.
I don't play. I didn't play Minecraft, but sure.
Yeah, I don't play either, but I think again, indie is pretty amazing. But man, like that game is everywhere. Kind of like how I feel like how The Cake is a Lie and Portal just was everywhere. I feel like everyone plays Minecraft, except me apparently, except all of us, I guess. But
yeah, I play it.
Okay,
I've
good,
actually
good. One of three is not bad.
As someone who's played it quite in depth, the fact that it's entirely written in JavaScript is phenomenal. And the fact that it's also started, it started indie, but now it is literally anything but indie. Like it's console, it's everything now. So,
true.
I mean, I guess it's still quote unquote indie, but
it's just
by
everywhere.
definition. But yeah, it's pretty ubiquitous now.
That game on Xbox 360 is one of the best selling games of the year.
Yeah,
honestly, it's so fun.
Game.
It's such a fun game. Do you guys know the idea of it, like what it's about?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, essentially, you just build, but you can do it in either free mode or you can do it in mode where when darkness comes, all the monsters come out.
Mm-hmm.
So you're literally like building yourself a shelter to save yourself from monsters, and you just upgrade all your stuff, and and then when you're done, you start again.
We got a couple more on here that I think we have to mention. Skyrim,
big time,
of course. Holy cow, that game looks incredible, plays incredible. It was my first Elder Scrolls game. Like, I'd seen my brother play a little bit of Oblivion about a couple of days before I played Skyrim, and I was like, man, this game has not aged well. And then seeing Skyrim for the first time just blew my mind. I could not wait to play it because it looked gorgeous, and then I just got completely absorbed into its mechanics and having to see every little nuance of that world, and I love just being able to say, I'm going to walk that way, wherever that was, and find something cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I truly think you have to have played either Morrowind or Oblivion to fully appreciate Skyrim.
I agree. Because I think you'd see, especially if you played all of them, and just see like you would appreciate the game so much more for how much attention to detail, oh my god, went into everything they did in there.
There's so much lore in that series.
It's mind-blowing.
It's unreal.
I mean, you could spend like, I'm going to say days reading those stupid books.
Oh my god, I know. And they're everywhere.
Yeah. Like someone spent their time writing these books inside this game that literally thousands and millions of people will never read, but they're there.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty cool.
Exactly. And then I had it for PC and I modded it. So I've got tons of like graphic modifications and everything. It literally looks like real life.
Nice.
It's so good though. Like, I mean, honestly, yeah, definitely one of my games of the year.
Yeah, it's definitely in my top of the gaming generation list. Maybe not the top, but up there.
Yeah, I mean, just in sheer scope.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Like, the amount of stuff in that game is mind-blowing.
I personally wouldn't put Red Dead on this list, but I feel like a lot of people would.
I liked Red Dead.
I liked Red Dead. I like Red Dead more than Grand Theft Auto, but I think in my mind it's one or the other, and I would probably go with GTA. Just in terms of game of the generation, but I liked Red Dead better because it was cooler in my mind.
Yeah, Wild West.
Yeah, I know, come on.
Yeah.
You got to ride a horse. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Couple more on this list. We have Super Mario Galaxy. I don't really like the Galaxy games, but I appreciate what they did for Mario and video games in general, where there was just nothing really like it at the time, and they make you just think about the world in a completely different way. Of just watching Mario run upside down on that sphere, it's like, wait, you could do that?
Exactly. Blast off.
And it opens up a whole world of gameplay possibilities.
I read online, man. A lot of people put that game really high on their list.
Yeah.
I've never played it, but apparently pretty good.
It's amazing. I mean, I feel like that beyond Wii Sports, I think that's probably the next premier game on the Wii. If you're a quote-unquote hardcore gamer, you know, if you have a Wii, you should have that 1 or 2, Mario Galaxy 1 or 2. It's that good.
Yeah. I'm guessing, Jason, you put Monster Hunter on here?
Oh, yeah. See, I'm trying to be, nice to every system, and I'm like, well, the PSP had Monster Hunter, but, yeah, I don't know.
That's true.
I guess if you were in Japan,
yeah,
as a game of
all the Japanese listeners get Monster Hunter, but someone wrote Walking Dead with a question mark. I think that's a great example, game of generation. I think that was you, Jet.
It was me.
Yeah,
it was me. I love that game. It was my game of the year last year. I think all three of us said that was their game of the year.
Yep.
I
think so.
I don't think I'd played it by then, but I could easily see it being the game of the year.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if I would, and I don't know why I wouldn't put that on that list. It was a very big type of storytelling game, and there wasn't really anything like it, of just that graphic novel type approach, except maybe Heavy Rain. But Heavy Rain, in certain respects, doesn't execute as well as The Walking Dead.
It's actually funny that we don't have Heavy Rain on here, because Heavy Rain,
I would put Heavy Rain over The Walking Dead, though I think The Walking Dead is a better game.
Well, I think The Walking Dead's a better story.
I like it.
But, I mean, that there was just an unreal amount of different endings to Heavy Rain, right? All dependent on the choices you made throughout the game. So it was literally like Mass Effect should have been, except a lot shorter.
But just in one game.
Yeah, exactly.
And Heavy Rain's influence on, say, quick time events and storytelling and a focus on sort of more drama rather than action.
Yeah.
And which ultimately... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Which ultimately led to a game like The Walking Dead existing.
Yeah, I mean, the thing for me is if you put Walking Dead in the same category as a lot of these games that are on our list right now, Walking Dead, to me, isn't really a game. It's more like an interactive story book, in a way. So, I mean, for me to put Walking Dead up against something like Skyrim, for instance, I mean, just in sheer, like I said before, scope,
magnitude,
Skyrim has got to beat hands down. But the story in Walking Dead was phenomenal, and literally was probably one of the best stories I think I've played all year, if not, one of the best stories in gaming that I think I've ever experienced. But, it's not really a game, and the same with Heavy Rain. It wasn't really a game, it was more just like an interactive storybook. So
Yeah.
I guess it depends on how you look at it.
Still has gameplay mechanics in it.
Yeah, that's true.
It might be different gameplay mechanics, but still gameplay mechanics. And also, like, there's been how many Elder Scrolls games versus how many games followed the Heavy Rain / Walking Dead formula up until The Wolf Among Us. Just those two.
Or Beyond Two Souls.
Okay, so they went from 2 to 4.
Yeah, that doesn't really count though.
I think one thing to keep in mind with The Walking Dead and what was it? Heavy Rain is that they are pretty much the modern reinvention of point and click. And I think that is such an old genre that, I mean, it's still pretty amazing. But I think it made that jump so well. Kind of like how, like, let's go to Mario. Like, jump from, Super Mario, World on the SNES to the 64, and how that was so great. I think it's kind of similar to that. Like, it made that jump, and now that genre is relevant. And I think that's pretty cool. I mean, I think Heavy Rain is a good choice. But I think if you pair them both together, because they kind of do what the other one doesn't, Walking Dead and Heavy Rain are just great examples of story being the driving force. And yeah, there's some gameplay elements like Jet said, but yeah, absolutely. I think they should be there.
I can't really speak to Dark Souls / Demon Souls, but I think there would be a lot of people who would get mad if we did not at least mention those.
True.
I mean, years after the fact, people still talk about Dark Souls all the time.
Yeah, I never put myself through the torture of playing those games.
They are very challenging.
For the best. I've played just enough to appreciate or at least recognize why people like it so much. And I totally get that. And I don't know, maybe one day I'll get around to actually investing the time to not suck at them, but I think their influence on this generation of gamers, it can't be ignored.
Yeah.
And one more on here, I think might be arguably the definitive franchise of this generation, even though it's had some rough spots here and there. Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, that's the last one I was looking at on here.
The things it did when it was being previewed, and oh my god, this game looks so amazing, and how is he climbing up these walls and then jumping on a horse and doing all these fluid motions, all in with only the handful of buttons on the controller, and this is crazy, set in Jerusalem, and all of that stuff. It really, I mean, now Ubisoft just kind of churns them out, and they're all very derivative of themselves, but at the time, that was just crazy fresh and new, and was a completely different take on the open world genre that wasn't Grand Theft Auto.
That's true.
Agreed.
And it kind of opened the door for open world games to be damn near anything.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I loved the original Assassin's Creed. It was really fun.
Yeah, that's the one I played the most, actually. It was the first. Super fun. Oh, man, and I think that was a great display of just the visual power of the next-gen systems. Like, when you get onto those viewpoints and the camera just panned out, oh, man, goosebumps everywhere.
I know.
So cool.
So good. Yeah. Arguably, I think, though, my favorite Assassin's Creed was Brotherhood.
Yeah, I'd go with 2 or Brotherhood.
Yeah. I think maybe we could make an argument for 2 being more, well, I guess 1 sort of revolutionized, but 2 kind of took all of 1's stuff and then sort of refined it all and made it that much better.
Kind of like Uncharted. Yeah, they did it better.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
And Ezio is pretty awesome, too.
Altair is cool.
Absolutely.
Ezio's awesome.
Yeah. Characters of this generation. Ezio's on there. Shepard's on there.
Shepard's, yeah.
Male and female Shepard. I really wish Marcus and Dom completed their bromance. Just took it to the next level, but that never happened. Other characters of this generation. Nathan Drake.
Yeah.
Nico Bellic.
Barf. No.
Come on, brother.
Batman. The Mies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Mies.
Yeah. Big Daddy.
Yeah.
For sure.
The guy in Skyrim that got shot in the knee.
You mean every guard?
Yes, exactly. Which one?
Yeah. That was the generation. We've still got one more year to go, at least, on these consoles, and they're still going to be putting out games for them, and Dark Souls 2 is coming out for Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, and I can't think of anything else big. Well, Titanfall's coming out on the 360.
That's true.
Titanfall.
So, they've still got a little bit of life in them, but in the grand scheme of things, this last generation was pretty amazing.
Oh, definitely.
And there will be a lot of great games to remember this generation by.
Yeah. I am proud to be a gamer for this generation.
It was a wonderful 7 or 8 years there from 2005 onward.
Would you say that this gaming generation was the best?
Possibly.
Yeah, I'm thinking like there's like content in every direction you went. Like there was some game in your genre that was really good, and that doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
So that was great.
Agreed.
It could be.
No, yeah. There's so many different innovations, so many more people playing video games, the whole online aspect, and how that changed games, how downloadables changed games, indies, and then the super big blockbuster games where you got games as big or bigger than anything before, and then smaller games that could now exist in an ecosystem like this and thrive. Just whatever you wanted, it was there.
Yeah.
Alright, so I think this is a good place to stop. Let's go plug some things. Jason, what are you up to?
So I just finished another Game Hunter article too about just collecting video games of the last gen. So we just talked about it, so yay. And funny thing, whenever Christmas would roll around, my parents would always want me to actually make a physical list of like things that I want. And having my own computer for the past like better part of a decade, I've always saved my lists. So I have Christmas lists from like 2005, I think. So I'm doing a top 10 list of the what was I thinking games on my Christmas lists for the past like decade. So
That's awesome.
That'll be kind of fun. Just going through them, it's like, dude, why would I want like why did I have Call of Duty on one of my lists? Like I don't even play that game. So like I don't know why it was there. But that's kind of fun. So I'll look through that, and then hopefully I can actually write some thoughts about the Wii U and get that going.
I've got a Christmas wish list going. Steph and I have a Google Doc. This is really dorky, of our Christmas wish suggestions. Some things on my list. I've got a futon.
Nice.
For the man cave, so that Steph and I can hang out together there. Right now, it's a very solitary environment because there's only one office chair.
I think that's the definition of a man cave. Once you have more than one seat, it's no longer a man cave.
Mm.
Then it's a people
Yes,
cave.
exactly.
But I kind of want Steph to spend more time with me, and maybe we could play video games
That's
together
adorable.
more often. I've got the Elgato Game Capture HD.
Nice.
I want to capture some more video, maybe stream some more stuff that isn't necessarily PS4, and make some other cool videos. I've got the new Rocksmith on there. The Capcom Character Encyclopedia book, Jason, that you were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that at Chapters, and I was like, oh man, this is super awesome. I want this.
Yeah.
And then Steph said, don't buy it.
Oh.
Like, oh no.
Hey, it's amazing. You'll like it.
I've got on my list...
If you get it.
Yeah. The Ticket to Ride board game. Some Legendary, the Marvel deck building game. Some expansions for that. And then I also have Pokemon X or Y.
Nice.
Matt, what's on your list?
To be honest, I'm not, I haven't really thought about it yet. I'm a really late Christmas person.
Oh, man.
I know.
was probably ripping her hair out. Like, oh, what am I going to get him?
Yeah, I know. Actually, it's funny. I'm terrible for, I'm terrible for buying things in December when I shouldn't be buying things.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah. So I've told myself now that I've just stopped. Like, I won't buy anything. I was online for Cyber Monday and Black Friday and whatnot, and Liza's biting her nails, like, oh my god, what's he buying? I don't want him to buy anything. So yeah, I'm no longer buying anything, but I haven't made a definitive list yet. So I don't know. I'm a terrible person to shop for at Christmas.
Mass Effect Trilogy.
Yeah, in case I want firewood.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Besides not writing a Christmas wish list, what are you working on, Matt?
So Biff Band Pop is doing the 31 days or 25 days of Christmas. I guess 31. It's over after that. So leading up to Christmas, they are doing basically like a gift a day. Mm-hmm. So everything from pop culture, video games, comic books, movies, TV. So yeah, every day this month there's a new gift and a new reason to buy it. So if you're looking for something for that special someone, yeah, go over there, check it out. Maybe you'll find something that you like.
All right. As for me, I'm finally getting around to writing that Phoenix Wright review. I don't know when it will be done, but I'm working on it. I finally know where I want to go with this thing because I've beaten the game and understand where that thing ultimately goes.
Take that.
So look out for that soon-ish on Splitkick. Otherwise, Jim's been posting a whole bunch of his Let's Plays and Short Attention Gamer, of course. Listen to them. Jeff and Aaron do their video show, Splitkick Midnight News. If you haven't checked that out on the YouTube channel, go for it. And also, you can email us at bosscast@splitkick.com. We want to know what you think are your games of this generation, and if we missed any, let us know.
Yeah.
Or what do you think that we mentioned that is a definitive game of the generation that you're like, oh, F that noise.
Journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flower.
Jet's gonna write in, and his handle's gonna be like, not Jet. It's like, Journey sucks, man. Why'd you guys even say that? Jet's so right.
You can subscribe to us on iTunes and on Twitter. You can find us at Maddie Lang, at Jay Jasicki, at Jetlandicho, and at SplitKickCom. So until next time, happy holidays, and we'll be back at the end of the year talking about Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Yes, we will.